But for the time being, we're going to put the spotlight on another corporate conversation. And the company on our radar is Wockhardt. We have, in fact, Mr. Khorakiwala joining in, founder and chairman of the company, to take a couple of questions. Sir, before we get started, I just want to outline for the sake of our viewers a couple of the key areas that, today we are seeking clarity on. First, of course, the market is very, keenly focused on the progress of the company's NCE portfolio, new chemical entity, basically novel drugs that Wockhardt is looking at developing. And then, of course, we need an update on what next. We know that Wockhardt has exited its US generics business. So now what's the next focus area in terms of growth? And finally, of course, the path to better profitability. So let's discuss all of this with Mr. Khorakiwala. Mr. Khorakiwala, let me first start with the novel drug discovery, right? Because the market is very keen on knowing the progress that you're making with Zaynich. And this is the drug that promises to take care of superbugs, right? Absolutely drug-resistant bacteria. It's proven to, or it's at least it's showing very good promise in the trials. By when are you expected to file this, sir? And what is the opportunity here, the market size and the opportunity?
I think Zaynich is our main game-changing drug in antibiotic treatment. And as you know that this covers entire gamut of gram-negative organism. And probably it is coming after 40 years in this class as a new antibiotic. We have already filed to Indian regulators sometime in March, a few months back. And we are ready to file to US FDA next few weeks, maybe by middle of September. And we expect the product to be available in India by middle of next year and worldwide late next year or early following year.
Okay, so that means 2026 is going to be quite a landmark year for Wockhardt as Zaynich finally reaches the market. So, sir, just take us through now the revenue implications and how this will play out. Will there be an out-licensing deal? Like I said, if you could just tell us what is the global market size? And in terms of revenue, 26, when the drug comes to market, how much would you hope to earn?
See, Zaynich has an enormous potential. Yeah. For example, today about 5 million people die every year because of the resistance, multi-drug resistance. And that is where Zaynich will work in 75% of cases. In India alone, about 1 million people die every year. So from that context, we are talking and we had shared with some of the investors the potential which is in the millions of dollars over a period of time. It has a patent up to 37 in the US and other countries. So it has a long way to go. And we would be establishing this in India immediately once we launch it. And US and other markets, we are considering the alternatives that in some market like US, we may like to do it ourselves. And maybe many other markets, we may find as suitable partners.
So 1 full year of time in the market, Zaynich, what would be the possible revenue, global revenue?
Let me just put it to India because the US, we are still trying to discover what kind of first-year revenue, but we know the peak revenue would be significant. But I think we expect in India for full year available revenue of something around 150 crores or so.
Okay. All right. As you said, it's a big one. It's the biggest in your portfolio, which markets are very excited about. Mr. Khorakiwala, good morning, sir. Prashant here. Thanks for joining us. Let me just continue with that strain of thought, which is these novel entities. So talk to us a little bit about the other one, 4282, which I think phase 3 has been initiated under US FDA guidelines. And the other one is WOC 6777. Just give us an update on both these as well.
The 4282, we have completed Indian clinical trials. So we'll be completing in October. And we should be filing to our local drug controller sometime early next year. And that would be the second drug after Zaynich. We would be in the market in India in 26. As far as the 6, and that is also to initiate in a gram negative. So there is a very complementary portfolio of 6282 and Zaynich. 6282 deals with initial infection where existing drugs are resistant or they have a high side effect. This is a very safe drug. And whereas a Zaynich is when other drugs don't work, that is where you use Zaynich. So that's as far as the 4282 is concerned. 6777, we have just completed phase 1 clinical trial with the health HMI of US health organization. They invested about $10 million to do it because there was a need. It will be the only once-a-day antibiotic in the new class, which is also enhancer like Zaynich. And we would be initiating a phase 2 clinical trial this year, in next few months. And thereafter, we will see and continue with the phase 3 clinical trials.
Right. This is all what you mentioned for 6777 is in the UK, right? Phase 2, phase 3.
Phase 2 clinical trial we may do anywhere because it is generally accepted.
Okay.
But phase 3 would be a global clinical trial, including US, Europe, India, and many other countries.
Okay. And similarly, like you mentioned, that 150 crore number for Zaynich, could you talk to us about what is the potential here of a year's worth of revenue from these two? I mean, but they're further away, right, as compared to where Zaynich is in terms of the launch, etc. Hopefully.
Yes, I think Zaynich would be the revenue driver for next 3 to 4 years, followed by McNef we just introduced few months back in India, and that would be a very significant major driver in India. And 4282, which will be marketed within 1 year, would be also a revenue driver if you are looking at 3 to 4 years' time. Whereas the 6777 will take another 4 years before it can hit the market.
So just give us a second. I just want to clarify something that the ticker had flashed here on Clean Science. Now, Clean Science, that we know, promoters have sold a large chunk of their equity in a block trade today, this morning. But volumes seem to be even higher than the exact volume of that block. And what the company has told us, I mean, this is Clean Science to CNBC-TV18, that there seems to have been some sort of a punching error by the trader. We'll get Sudarshan in on this to explain to us exactly what has happened. But it seems that there is a bit of a punching error there, which is responsible for extraordinary volumes on Clean Science. Though, yes, volumes anywhere high because of the block trade that happened in which promoters have apparently sold about 24% stake. This is, of course, something that we were highlighting in our pre-open session as well. Back to Clean Science with more details in just a bit. But Mr. Khorakiwala, so you've given us some idea about how your novel drug discovery portfolio is shaping up. For the rest of it, sir, now that you have exited the US generics business, just take us through for this year, top-line growth, your focus markets, and that margin improvement trajectory. I mean, whenever we speak to you, there is always a guidance of looking at 20% sort of margins on a sustainable basis. Will that happen this year itself? And what can we expect in terms of overall company growth and EBITDA?
See, in terms of top-line growth, we do expect double-digit growth, combining all aspects of situation. And we will certainly have at least a 200 basis point improvement in our margins.
So, sir, what sort of an improvement in margins are you aiming for this year?
So I think we had last year a margin of about 14%.
Yeah.
So that should improve to near 16% or so.
16% this year, 200 basis points. And is there scope for further improvement? And also, again, in terms of focus, now that you are looking away from the US, which would be some of the core geographies for you beyond India?
We are very strong in Europe. We have our own companies in UK and Pinewood. And collectively, they do contribute about 2/3 of our business today. And we have a very healthy portfolio there of products. So generally, we introduce 6, 7, 8 products every year there. and they are growing, at least the UK is growing at near double digit between 9-12% kind of a range. And pine wood is also in a growth, but they are mid 5-6% growth state. So that is healthy. But very important is that our margins in UK is improving year-on-year basis, and that will continue.
Yeah. Just to go back to Zaynich, again, I mean, this is obviously what you, it's a question actually for the FDA more than anybody else. You said you'd file in the next few weeks. There's a lot of revamp going on in various US agencies, and I mean, the new health secretary has got pretty radical ideas for healthcare reform in the US. All that is not affected, I mean, anecdotally, has it affected rate of approvals, etc. at all, or not really?
See, we had 2 meetings in FDA in the last few months.
Okay.
One, we had a physical meeting in May in Washington, where we shared all the data which we had and wanted their response and reaction. And these were thousands of pages document we submitted at that time. Then they gave some issues for our team to work on it. And then there was another meeting, Zoom meeting in July, late July. And knowing everything, we would be in full compliance when we file it in September. What is good about this filing is that this most of the filing in terms of clinical CMC, purity of the drug, FDA is already aware of it. So we do expect a rather rapid approval of this product in 6 to 9 months.
That's very helpful, sir. So meeting in May and then a virtual meeting in July. And as you said, they're aware of the drug, etc., and details, and you expect rapid approval. So in the US market by late next year is what you said for Zaynich. Thank you very much, Mr. Khorakiwala. Appreciate your time here on CNBC TV 18. Thank you for joining us.